Looks like we have Maxi Hughes on the thank you for joining us, Maxi. How are you?
Oh, very well, thank you. Yourself?
We're good, and excited to have you on. Tell me that you heard the interview that we did yesterday with Devin Haney here in studio.
Absolutely, yeah. It wasn't about an hour ago. I had it. My manager sent me the video and the clip of it. And it's exciting. It's great that Devin, the undisputed champion, has put some value on the IBO, and he's recognising it and he's saying he wants to fight for it. So that's great news for me. Yeah, absolutely buzzing with that.
So when we were talking to Devin, he didn't know that you had been in negotiations with Ryan Garcia and that there was an offer that you and your team decided not to take, stating that it was too low, right? It was just too low.
Yeah, well, the offer from Golden Boy went straight to Eddie Hearn, who was my promoter, and Eddie knows the market. Eddie knows the value of the fight. So my full trust was in Eddie in negotiating and dealing with that. So all that I got told from my manager. The message got passed down to me was Golden Boy have sent their first offer. Eddie's turned it down because he knows the fight's worth more. Eddie had heard that Dazn was pressuring Golden Boy to make the fight with myself because I've boxed on Dazn a couple of times and done well. So he thought that they would come back with a second offer, and it turns out that I think they'd sent the same offer to Fortuna, and obviously Fortuna's in a different position in his career to myself, so he's accepted, and that pushed us out. So it was a bit of a kick in the teeth for me. I was good because I wanted the opportunity, but Eddie and my team felt that the offer wasn't worth it for the magnitude of the fight. So my full trust was in them, and Eddie's delivering and providing the best opportunities for me, and he didn't think that was worth it. So, I take his word for it.
I have to follow up because, cool, Eddie didn't think it's worth it, but sometimes, you got to take short money, right? Like beating Ryan Garcia puts you in an amazing position, right? Like Ryan, you can't talk about Ryan without talking about Tank or Devin, and that can become you if you take him out. I mean, obviously, it's old news, and that offer is no longer on the table. But is Devin now calling for a fight for a possible fight with you? Sort of a caveat for you to not getting the Ryan fight.
Yeah, going back to what you first said about the opportunity to fight Ryan, I understand that, and me myself, it was more money than I'd ever had, so I would have probably, I'd have snapped that opportunity straight up.
Shit, no, Maxi, why you tell me that? So you had to tell Eddie, no, give me that fight. I could beat this guy, and it's your highest payday. Oh,
well, that it is what it is now. That's gone.
Oh, wow.
See this recent clip with Devin saying that he wants, he'd like to add the IBO. That's great news for me, but I don't know the situation regarding the rematch clause that he's got with Kambosos. I don't know how, I don't know the politics in and around that rematch clause, whether he's able to take a fight before that rematch or not. I don't know how that works, or whether Devin meant he's going to beat Kambosos in the rematch, then he wants to fight me for the IBO.
My understanding is he's talking in a perfect world scenario where Kambosos does not want the rematch. Then he wants to go and collect that last belt. He said, he would go to you, but if he could get that hometown fight.
Actually, he said the opposite. He said, I don't care about a hometown fight. He
Yeah,
said,
but he also said he didn't mind. Remember, because you said, what about across the tracks or something like that?
yeah, no, I said going out there, and he's like, yeah, I have no problem going out there. He just said wherever the fight makes the most sense, that's where he wants it. So he said that he would have no issue coming out there.
So for you, it's just a matter of whether Kambosos actually activates the rematch and ESPN wants that shit, because he's got to convince ESPN that he can sell it again, plus the Victorian government. So I don't know. We'll see about that. That's why that's not going to be talked about till November.
Yeah, that situation will unravel, and we'll see where that goes. But in terms of me and the Devin fight, I'm chomping at bit for the opportunities and these big fights. You know, Eddie said he wants to get me them fights, and I understand that Eddie and Devin and his dad have a good relationship. So if something can be done there, I would love that. But for the meantime, I don't want to get too excited, because I know what it feels like when you think you've got a fight in the bag and it didn't happen. So I don't want to put all my eggs in the basket with that. So in the meantime, I'll just be training, keep working hard, improving, and ready for what opportunity presents itself. I would love that Devin fight. You know, respect to Devin for going like Kambosos did to the Champions Back Garden and claiming the belts. And as for where the fight, I'd love the fight at home in UK, or just as happy to fight in the USA. It's always been a goal and a dream of mine to fight in the US. So yeah, we'll see. I'll see how that situation unfolds.
So obviously you don't want to sit around and wait for Devin. Everyone else in this division is moving and had a fight. Like Tank just came off a fight. Devin just came off a fight. Ryan's going into a fight. So how long before you actually tell your team you need to get back in the ring?
Well, my manager has been, I've been on it, my manager, pretty much every day, saying I need to fight in summer, July, I want to fight. Obviously, July's getting ever so close now, and I've still not heard nothing. So hopefully August. I'm jumping at a bit. I'm training, and I'm ready to fight. I want to keep my momentum going. This is now my full-time job, so I've got to earn. I've got a wife who's still on maternity leave with our youngest daughter, who's 8 months old, and I've also got a 3-year-old. I've got to provide. I've got to earn. So I need the fights to earn and work. But not only that, I want to progress my career. So I'm chomping at bit to be ready. And we had some interesting conversations with the fighter Billy Dibb. He's gone in at number 5 with the IBF, and I'm number 10 with the IBF. So he's expressed his interest in fighting me. And with him being number 5 with the IBF, my manager says, well, let's take this fight to Eddie and see if we can get it for an IBF eliminator, so that if I can't get the opportunities, I'll make myself get the opportunities by, having an eliminator to hopefully become a mandatory. You know what I mean? So that's the fight that I would take in the prelim.
And so you're saying you would want that by July?
Hopefully, yeah, or August latest, so that there's enough time for me to get a fight the back end of the year, November, December.
All right. Well, Maxi, I got a few questions from the people. We let them know you'd be coming on. New York Bullet in New York City here in the States says, what's up, champ? Who were some of the legends who inspired you to box? Blessings and good luck on your career.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, since an early age, the biggest name out there was Mike Tyson. I was born in the 90s, so Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. He was somebody who I watched and understood to be the biggest name in boxing, but not so much my inspiration, I would have thought. But since I really started getting into boxing, I can't choose one favorite fighter. I have 5. I have Roberto Duran, Mayweather, Pacquiao, Arturo Gatti and Juan Manuel Marquez. When I have a go-to, when I've got 10, 15 minutes to chill and to kill, I'll go on YouTube, and usually I will type one of their names in and I will watch the highlights of a certain fight. Or I would say they're probably, the most inspirational fighters that I gain a lot from, and, like to get the running trainers out as soon as I watch them, and, that's what they give me.
All right. I got Mr. Adore that says you're 32 with the IBO title and no other world title shot in sight. What kind of conversations have you had with your management and promotional team so you can secure a world title opportunity? I respect the IBO, but we know it's more of a stepping stone title at the moment.
Yeah, I can respect what he's saying there. Again, like I just said earlier, it was yesterday. I was sparring in my manager's gym with another lad who he manages, and the conversation was with something along the lines of a Billy Dibb, who's number 5 with the IBF and wants to fight me as number 10 with the IBF. So to guarantee a shot at one of the other belts, it's making them kind of fights, and having somebody like Eddie Hearn as my promoter to push that with the IBF to get it for final eliminator to become mandatory. That's a route I want to go down, because I understand that the IBO isn't one of the 4 main respected belts, so that is a goal of mine to go and fight and win one of the other world titles. So I think that's the road I may need to go down, unless a fight like Devin happens where I get my shot at all the marbles. But if that doesn't happen, I'll be working hard to find out if I can get into these eliminators to guarantee myself a shot. But, I don't take too much from my age. Yes, I'm 32, but I feel I'm in the prime of my life. No injuries, no niggles. I'm now a full-time fighter, and I feel I'm forever improving. So while I'm like this, age is just a number, and records are for DJs. So, let the big fights come. Hopefully now, and with Matchroom, these fights are going to happen.
Speaking of full-time fighter, Maxi, I know that you made it very public not too long ago that you became a full-time fighter and that you left your job. Now, today we're hearing you, emphasize the importance on, providing for your family. Is there any worry that fight doesn't happen in July or August, again, giving you the check that you need to provide for your family?
There's no immediate worries. I've still got my fight purse from my last fight, which was pretty healthy, and I'm under contract that my next fight should be happening over these summer months. So I'm not too worried, and if worst case scenario, if times got hard, I would go back to work and earn and work and box at the same time. It's not the end of the world. That I'm not shy of hard work, and I'll do what's necessary to provide for my family. And not only that, my wife has got a really good job. She's currently on maternity, so there's options there for my wife to go back to work early. But we're good for now. And my immediate job is to be a full-time fighter, improve, and get myself to be fighting these big fights.
All right. I have Brandon in Houston that says, if somehow a fight between you and Devin Haney is able to be made, what advantages would confidently feel you have over him? What advantages do you confidently feel you have over him?
I'm a southpaw, and I don't get the credit for being an awkward southpaw, because it's not until my last couple of opponents I've spoke to them after, and they says, we can't believe how awkward you are, and your little feet increments, your little bits of timing. What my advantage is, nobody gives me any credit. They think I've overachieved, They don't. I would be massively underestimated. So I feel that would be an advantage, and I love being the underdog. Most of my fights have been the underdog, and that's where I thrive, and that's what I love. That's what gives me that edge and that fire in my belly.
Do you think Devin Haney is the best 135-pounder because he is undisputed?
There's the until we've seen everybody fight each other. For instance, like remember the Super Six tournaments which the Sauerland brothers put on. Unless I think if there was something like that, you could then say you are the ultimate. You are the best at 135. But you have to, Matt. Like I said it before, Devin fought George. That George was top of the pile because he had most of the marbles. Now that Devin has all of the marbles, he has to be put on the top. So that's how I see it in my mind. That's how I would judge that list.
So, do you think or feel there are certain fights he must have before he leaves 135? Would you be disappointed? Let me rephrase that. Would you be disappointed if tomorrow he said, I'm not going to rematch? Or rather, since there's no rematch, I'm moving, because that's what he told us. He says, if there's no rematch with Kambosos, I may move up. So would you be disappointed that he didn't fight Ryan, Tank, yourself?
I won't be disappointed because I'm a fighter myself and I understand them kind of decisions and them kind of thoughts. But I suppose as a boxing fan, which I am, I would like to see Devin and Lomachenko. We know Lomachenko is out of action. He's involved in the Ukraine-Russia war. Respect for him for doing that. But as a fan, that's what I would like to see. As well as myself.
I don't know. A lot of talk of Lomachenko. I feel like after I go to war for my country, I probably want to spend some time with my family because they probably thought they were going to lose me. Like, I'm not coming back from war to go right into camp for 2 months.
For another war.
So I don't know. I don't know. People keep mentioning Lomachenko. I just don't know that can even happen this year until we hear something. But, Maxie, I got one more from Baltimore, Maryland. The best dad ever says, with you debunking that the fighter has the last say in Eddie Hearn saying that Ryan offer wasn't worth it. If Gervonta Tank Davis' team offered you a fight to come to Baltimore, would you take it or would you let Eddie handle it again and make that decision?
I would like to be more involved in the negotiations, I think. Going forward, yeah.
All right, good man. Yeah, because damn, if you're saying it was the highest payday and it was a Ryan fight, plus you had your belt to defend, that sounds pretty good to me. But I'm not Eddie. I'm no promoter. Those are our questions, Maxie. Thank you for coming on the show. Please give out your social media for anyone who isn't following you can do so. We wish you the best. And in a perfect scenario, like Haney said, no George Kambosos fight, and he gets the IBO from you so that there is no doubt about any belts out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the dream scenario. And thanks for having me on your podcast. Appreciate it. And if anybody wants to follow my journey, the main social media outlet that I use is Instagram, which is, I believe, it's on the screen, at Maxi Hughes. That's me, and that's the one that I use, and appreciate the love. I have a couple of followers from the US, so I appreciate that from them. And let's hope we can make them big fights, and you hopefully see me fighting on them shows soon.
All right. Well, take it easy, and look forward to the announcement with you and Billy Dib. If not, something even bigger. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maxie.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So I just got a last-minute text of the possible offer.
Wow.
Right? And now I get the text like as he's gone. You know what I mean? Because I would have threw that out there. But it don't matter because he said it's the highest he's ever gotten. He said he liked the offer. It's just that his peoples told him we could get more. They thought they could squeeze. Bruh, what up, YouTube family? Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1 million subscribers. We're on the road to 1 million. And obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content or right here on our YouTube members.